What's up, you guys? Raquel here with a new video for you. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to sew a sweater. Now, this is the finished product. I got thumb placements, I got a pocket and a zipper with a collar as well. Super cozy to wear, super easy to make. This is just a super quick tutorial. If you're interested in the pattern, I've made the pattern myself as well and graded it, so I will link the pattern down below. And yeah, I don't know, let's go ahead and get into it. So if you guys are interested in all things sewing, fashion, and design, please hit subscribe because this channel is made for you. Now let's go ahead and let's get sewing.
For all of the supplies you will need, I will go ahead and have them written down here. For my sweater, I'm going to go ahead and use some leftover French terry fabric. First step, of course, go ahead and cut out all of your pattern pieces. There's different types of fabric that you can use while making the sweater. You can use a fleece or a French terry. After you cut out your pieces, I went ahead and I sewed the pocket together by hemming around all of the edges and then pinning it onto the front body. It's going to be so much easier if you sew your pocket onto the front body first before we move on to the next steps. Next step, you're going to go ahead and sew your sleeves to, you can either do the front or back, doesn't matter which one. For this video, I'm going to go ahead and sew my sleeves to the front first. And of course, I'm just using my serger. After that, you will go ahead and sew your back only onto your sleeves. After you have sewn both of your sleeves onto your front and the back of your body, then you're going to go ahead and sew your side seams all the way up your sleeve and down on your side so it's completely closed. The next step, you're going to go ahead and determine how long you want your zipper to be. So go ahead, measure how long down you want it to be, and then cut that straight down. The next step is you're going to want to cut out your collar. You want to make sure that you cut out 2 pieces of fabric or 2 sides of fabric for your collar. One side you want interfaced, and I would recommend some knit interfacing, as you see right here. That will make it a lot more stiffer, especially if you are sewing with knit fabrics. And then the knit side of the interfacing is going to be sewn on the outer side. In other words, the side or the piece of collar that you have interfaced, go ahead and sew that on first and then sew on your zipper as you see me doing here. And then after your zipper is sewn on, then you can sew the other side of your collar that has no interfacing on it. The best way to sew your zipper, you want to tack down the bottom first, the very bottom of the zipper, like you saw me doing earlier. And then you're going to swing it around on one of the sides, make it completely even with the edge of the fabric, sew it completely down, and then you'll do the same on the other side. As you see right here, how it looks super flat. Once you finish sewing it down on the other side, then on the bottom of the zipper where you first tacked it down, you want to clip 2, not through the seams that are on both of the corners of the fabric. As you see here, your zipper is now perfectly flat. The next part on what we're going to want to do is sew the other side of your collar. So go ahead, sew around the edges of your collar. You want to make sure that you clip your corners so that way when you fold it right side out, you have a clean folded edge. You want to go ahead and top stitch those edges. And then as far as like the actual neckline of the collar, there's two options on how you can make this pretty. Is one step you can either just have like a serged edge and then stitch it down, or you can fold it inside of the collar, pin it down, and then stitch it in the ditch. The best way to go about sewing thumb placements in your wristband is first you're going to go about cutting out 2 pieces from your pattern for the left and the right. Next, after that, you're going to fold it like you see me doing here, and then mark the center or the middle of where your fabric is, after which on both sides is going to be 1/2 of an inch, making a total of an inch in the middle of where the seam allowance is. I'm going to mark over 1.5 inches. This is going to be where my thumb placement is going to be, like where I'll put my thumb through. So that empty spot right there. Next, I'm going to sew down 1/2 of an inch to give me enough room. Make sure you backstitch. I'm going to jump, leave that open because we're going to fold that. I'm going to do the same right there. Go ahead, clip all your threads. So now you basically have 2 little open areas. The next step after you move all your pins, we are actually going to go ahead and fold the seam going out, as you see me doing here. Make sure you make this completely flat. We're going to go ahead and fold it down towards each other. Make sure this is perfectly flat and straight. Pin that down to help it hold in place. The next step after this, what's very helpful is you can use a sewing foot to help you get closer to the middle of that seam. And then just go ahead, sew that down as close as you can. You'll also feel kind of like that groove of like where it's in the middle of that previous seam as you're sewing. So that will kind of help you know where you're going. Go ahead, fold it around the other side now, and then you're going to sew down the other side. Of course, use your pins to help guide you. In other words, it's almost as if I'm stitching in the ditch. Go ahead, clip your seams. I'm going to redo mine because mine got kind of wonky. And then I'm going to fold it out. And now I have placement for my thumbs right here. The only other step on what to do is to tack it down right at the edges right there to help reinforce the stitch. And I just did just some tiny little back stitches. Here is the final sweater on what it looks like. This version is made out of fleece fabric. I do feel like it gives it a little bit more of like a fluffy fuzziness, a little bit more cozy casualness. Absolutely love it. Here is what the French terry one looks like. So as you can see, two different types of sweaters, both super casual, both super comfy and cozy to wear. So whatever fabric that you would like, totally up to you. Both will work great.
Alright you guys, that will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are interested in all things sewing, fashion, and design, please be sure to subscribe because this channel is made for you. I will also be creating a Patreon. Now this Patreon is for all of the fashion design, technical apparel, all of the nitty-gritty that I have learned while in school. I've received my degree in fashion design and technical apparel, so all of the techniques I have learned in school, I am packing it all within this Patreon. I would love to be your resource, so please go check that out. I will be making more patterns available. This is my first pattern that I'm making available is the sweatshirt, and then I will be doing my own designs, basic designs like a button-up or sweaters. But anywho, if you guys have a request on something you would love to learn how to sew or make, please comment down below. I would, again, love to be your resource. And if you're still having any kind of like sewing troubles or you're still having problems with your t-shirt, you can shoot me an email or a direct message just over on designerraquels@gmail.com, and all socials are at designerraquels. So yeah, please go check me out. Go follow me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks! Happy sewing, you guys!